How many giant loop rides have you been to?
This is my 6th one.
Okay, and how was 2023 compared to all the others?
Well, the biggest, most badass. Everything seems like it worked well. We've never done anything this big before, and everyone stepped up and helped. I think the vendors were amazing and awesome, and the riders. The weather, obviously, I think made it more exciting. I think if it was hot, dry, and dusty, it would have been fun, but I think the mud, and sometimes in the challenges, like, people had actual adventures, and they had to suffer a little bit, and they were rewarded by making it back and getting prime rib dinner last night. So I think that was a big part of why this will be etched in people's memories for a long time.
Great. Well, Ryan, thank you for your big role you played in putting this together and making it go off without a hitch. And what do you say to people who are on the fence about coming out for Giant Loop 2024?
You're at Hot Springs. You're in Eastern Oregon. We have the GPS track, so it's easy to go and have fun. Big group rides, vendors, tons of beer, great food. It's truly a unique experience. There's no other event, rally, or ride in the U.S. that has that. And that's the reason why it's the biggest ever, and it keeps growing. And big brands like KTM, Triumph, or LM Field, and a bunch of other smaller brands and local companies want to come out. They know, they've heard the best of the best is here, so come out. It will sell out, I'm sure, next year, so get in early.
Get on that Giant Loop email list so you know the second tickets go on sale early 2024. You're a rock star.
I'm
we'll
here.
See you next year. Shawn, Veterans Back 40 Adventures.
How are you?
Great. How was your Giant Loop 2023?
Wonderful event. We had 30 vets this year and had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with them, get them all around on all these trails, had some great campfire time, having some beers, making new friends.
Fantastic. So what would you say to someone who's maybe on the fence about coming out for 2024?
Well, you absolutely have to come out. This is one of the, well, here's an example. I spoke to the lady who runs this campground, and she said, this ADV event, we are more low-key than their normal campground is on a holiday weekend. There's more riffraff. It's a great vibe. People are friendly. They're approachable. This is my 4th year here, and I can't wait to come back next year.
And I will say this, cleanest outhouses at any event I've ever been to.
Absolutely.
Unbelievably well maintained. So fantastic. Well, thanks, man. Great hanging out with you again this year. Thanks for providing all the delicious beverage services that we need, and thanks for everything you guys do for the vets. And looking forward to hanging out with you again next year. Matt, Tall Man Moto, how many Giant Loop rides have you been to now?
This would be my 2nd.
And how did you feel about 2023?
I actually really liked it. I was really concerned about the size increase, but they did a great job of handling where everybody was.
What would you say to someone who's not sure if they want to come next year?
You should definitely come out. And if you're an introvert and you're like, I don't like people, there's lots of introverts here who are getting together and hiding from the people together.
True.
And if you're an extrovert,
you're the
come
most
on out,
popular
bro.
person here. Todd, first Giant Loop ride?
It is.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. First time I've made it.
So how was it?
It was excellent. It was so much more fun than I was even anticipating. For such the event's grown so much, but it didn't feel like a big event. I never felt crowded anywhere. Always tons of people to meet, which is super cool. So yeah, it was so much fun to be here.
Awesome. So you're coming back next year?
Without a doubt.
Chad, Royal Enfield, shockingly based on the logo in the background. How was your Giant Loop 2023?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to say 9.8.
Okay, why?
You know, it's really, I think the community here, the people, that's what kept getting brought up time and time again about how many, seriously, the coolest people are here. And from a vendor standpoint, it was wonderful to get to talk to people and hear the excitement and really get to share our brand and really hear the instant feedback. I mean, it's about as organic of feedback as you can get when you send somebody out on a bike and they come back and they get to talk to you and what they loved, and they're already on a high from being here and getting to ride all the other motorcycles. It's a smaller type event, and that's what I like, because I think I may have talked to 80% of the people, and you don't ever get to say that at bigger events.
Right.
So feel very fortunate to be here.
Sweet.
Can't wait to be back next year.
What would you say to someone that isn't sure if they want to come next year?
You're crazy not to. It's fun because the weather can't even spoil a good time, because we're having the most wonderful last 2 days of weather. The first 2 days was a little challenging, but I think that's what makes it fun. There's no such thing as perfect weather.
Right.
That's why we buy all the fun gear that we buy and get to use what we use. And I'll go back to say, it's the community out here, man. There's just some wonderful people. I've been here 2 years in a row, and I met some great people last year. I met even better people this year. What Harold's built is such a special thing to see. So if you're a fan of motorcycling, you have to be here. If you're a fan of adventure riding, it's a must.
Awesome, dude. Well, thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you hopefully before next year, but at least then. Explore Adventure Moto, how was your 2023 Giant Loop ride?
Fantastic. Wet at times, really windy at times. Almost lost my pop-up. It's just going to get thrown away when I get home.
Well, you did lose it then, essentially.
Yeah. I put in a lot more miles this year and did more routes than I've been able to do in years past, just due to it not being as snotty, and completed some of the routes. King Mountain, easily my favorite. Had a really great time, and it was a large event this year.
Yeah.
And it was still run really smooth. These guys, Giant Loop, really did a very good job of keeping everything together.
I agree. So if you were a person who was on the fence about coming to Giant Loop 2024, what words of wisdom would change your mind?
If you've never been to one of these things before, or if you have and you've never been to Giant Loop before, come to Giant Loop. It's almost like you're catered to, almost. You don't have to lift a finger. You just hang out with a bunch of like-minded people, and it's just a good time.
It's just a good time.
You need to go to Giant Loop 2024. You just do.
There you go. Well, sign up. Let's go. Great riding with you, man.
Yeah.
And, well, I'd say I can't wait to see you next year, but I'm going to see you in like 2 weeks. So
Right.
Can't wait to see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, sorry about that, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Sucks for everyone else that doesn't get to hang out with us. Right. Brian, very first Giant Loop ride?
Yeah.
How was it, man?
It was awesome. I mean, it rained a little bit the first day, but it was great to come out here and, show everyone, the Alpine Stars Adventure gear, and everyone's like getting demos in and getting their hands on the gear, and that's pretty much what it's all about, and that's why we came out, so everyone can kind of like basically first-hand experience with Alpine Stars Adventure jackets, pants, boots, helmets, and go out and getting good riding in.
And you weren't just showing it off, like you were letting people borrow the gear and go for rides, right?
Yeah, so we weren't just doing, it wasn't just for display. We had gear to demo, and that's what we do at our events. We bring our gear for people to try out and get their hands on, because that's one of the toughest things in the motorcycle industry is when you get on a bike, spend all the money on the bike, and you got to start looking at the gear, and for the most part you're just looking online and you don't know how it feels, how it fits, and the best part is just like coming here, we have it on the rack, you can try it, put it on the jacket, you're like, oh, maybe I'm not this size, you can size up, size down, and it's just really good to get that first-hand experience.
Did you get any riding in?
I did. I got some good riding in. I went out with Donnie Reddington from school, Moto. We did the Reservoir Loop and then came down to the Black Canyon, I think it was. And, it was a little bit rocky going up, but, just tracking along on the dirt trails and then coming down out of the canyon, you get the nice gravel, like graded gravel roads, and just kind of open it up and just cruising through some farmland. It was absolutely beautiful.
Sweet. So are you coming back next year?
Absolutely. Everyone can look forward to seeing Alpine Stars at Giant Loop rides from here on out. We'll be here demoing gear, and if you're at the Giant Loop rally, swing on by and test out a helmet, jacket, pants, and boots.
Sweet, dude. Well, great hanging out with you. Thanks for being here and letting people get hands on with some gear, and I wish you safe travels home.
Yeah, likewise.
Harold, 12th annual Giant Loop ride. You've been at all of them, I assume. How was 2023?
Oh man, I think that this year just kind of took everything to this new level, and it was amazing. We had twice as many vendors, twice as many riders. We had fantastic weather once we got over a couple thunder showers at the beginning.
Some of
and
that one part,
stuff.
the rest was great.
But but I think everything came together better than expected. It was great. Yeah.
Any hiccups with the much bigger size this year?
Not really. I mean, I think considering how many people we had here, we did pretty well. We didn't have any sort of life-threatening injuries or any of that stuff. I'm always relieved about that. And, other than some bikes and people getting banged up, I think everybody had a good time, even the people who got banged up a little bit. But no, it's been a fun year.
So,
I'm kind of tired. You can probably hear it in my voice, but it's a good kind of tired. Yeah.
Good. So what would you say to someone who's maybe on the fence about coming for 2024?
Well, I would say, this is a really unique corner of our state here. And, I've had the good fortune of traveling and riding in a number of places around the world. And, and I've never seen any place that's quite like this. And this is one of the reasons that I love sharing this area. This is really kind of the roots and origins of Giant Loop. And so, I think, come and check it out. We have hundreds of miles of tracks to ride. And it doesn't matter really if you're a fairly novice rider and you just want to go do some nice cruising on gravel roads, or if you're gnarly dirt bike guy and you want to go ride sand and bash rocks in the desert. Like there's a little bit of everything here for everybody. And so we're very welcoming and inclusive, I think is what we aim to be. And so come check it out. I think one of the reasons it's gotten to be the size that it is that for people come and have a good time, they go home, tell their friends, and year over year it's just continually grown because of that kind of word of mouth. And
awesome. Well, thanks for putting on a fantastic event. Everyone I talked about an amazing time, and they're probably all coming back next year. So let's go for 1,000 riders next year.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Might be a little
this
big.
is a pretty good number, I think, but
Yeah,
we'll
I
see
agree.
how things shape up. But I'm excited and already thinking about next year.
Yeah,
Can't
great.
wait.
Well, that's how you know it was a good event. You're tired but excited.
Yes,
and ready
exactly.
to do it again next year.
Exactly.
Do we know the dates for next year?
I think it's like May 30th through June 2nd, if I remember. But we
Okay.
always stake out that first weekend in June.
Make sure you're on the Giant Loop email newsletter so that you get first notification when registration opens in early 2024, and we hope to see you here at the next Giant Loop ride.
Excellent.
So for me and Harold and everyone else at Giant Loop, we want to say thank you to all of those who attended. Thank you to those of you watching this video, and we're looking forward to seeing you all next year at Giant Loop Ride 2024, right here, first weekend in June, Crystal Crane Hot Springs, Crane, Oregon. Thank you for watching. Go light, go fast, go far with Giant Loop.